Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Opportunity Zoom. My name is Chris Corley. It is my privilege to welcome all of you to this opportunity. I get so excited for a lot of reasons when I'm asked to host these opportunity Zooms. I'll just share one of them with you because I remember 6 years ago when I was like many of you who are on the Zoom. You were searching for something, you were interested, you were invited. You didn't really know what it was that you were invited to. You didn't really know what was going to be mentioned in the Zoom, but I listened, and really halfway through, I realized that this was what I was praying for. You're going to hear about amazing products. I heard 6 years ago these products, the compensation of the business was just something that I was praying for. So when someone asked me to come on and just to start a Zoom and just welcome the speaker and welcome everybody, I'm just overjoyed and thrilled to do so. This evening, we have a master presenter, Mr. Jim Tanner. He's been in the business for over 20 years. He's made over $1 million doing this business that he is going to do his presentation on. And if that's not enough, he has helped others make multiple six figures in this business. So not only does the man know how to do it himself, but he knows how to help other people do exactly what he has so successfully done over the 20 years. I don't know a man that does it with more joy. He has more enthusiasm and joy in helping people do this. He doesn't have to do opportunity Zooms anymore. He's financially set, but he does it because he cares. He does it because he cares about the mission that you will hear about in the next 30 minutes or so. So, folks, it is my privilege to introduce really the presenter of this Zoom, Mr. Jim Tanner. Jim, the floor is yours, sir.
Chris Corley, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here with you. Thank you for that kind introduction. I'm great. I'm grateful that everybody could hear a little bit of your story tonight, and of course, you have an impeccable 6 year story with us. And you're going to hear some other voices as we move along here briefly as well. But I'll just tell you a little bit about my story. As you see on the screen, what I really want to talk about is an opportunity for you. I want to talk about your opportunity and your freedom. But when I saw this information that I'm about to show you 20 years ago, I was a searcher. I was looking. So many of you today, you accepted this invitation because you're looking, you're searching. You want to know what your real choices are. And that's what I wanted to know. The fact is, I was busy. So many of you are saying I'm busy. I was busy. I was working and commuting. I had two jobs. I worked a full-time job during the day, and because that didn't meet my basic needs, I also had a part-time job in the evenings. And between those two jobs and commuting, that was 80 hours a week of my life. And I was still, everything seemed out of reach. I don't know if you've ever felt that way before, where everything just seemed out of reach. I mean, what people might call paycheck to paycheck, what I called promise to promise, hoping that I could get to the end of the week to pay all of the bills, only to find out that some things had to be compromised every single time. Now, I know that's not everybody's story that's here today, because some of the folks that have been invited here, you've been in a season where you have already had great success. You're influential in your community, and that's why you're invited. But there are people here today that are part of this growing group that want to be their own boss, that want to have the opportunity to create their own choices. And I'm just grateful that I get to speak to that group of people here today. And I just want to acknowledge as we get started, and as you're going to see on the screen, the world is forever changed. I think about this period of time we went through with COVID, where really everything, we pumped the brakes almost immediately. Never in my life did I think we would go through a period of time where the whole world would virtually stop spinning. But that's what we experienced. And what we learned was that when people took that pause, people also took that time to look around and evaluate really our own values. Now, there's probably been in some people's lives situations like this, but I don't know that there's ever been a collective experience like what we experienced together, where so many people, almost everybody, just said at the same time, listen, I think I like the opportunity to work from home, but I don't really like the opportunity to be micromanaged from home. Like I want to be able to have the potential situation where I can run my household, maybe get the kids on the bus in the morning, be there when they come home, to not have to incur the cost of all of that childcare that most people were doing, to be able to operate, be efficient from home, be productive from home. And folks found out they kind of liked that. Now, again, they didn't like micromanagement. So there's folks that were frustrated by the micromanagement, but not by the ability to avoid the commute and to control their schedule. Then there was another group, and maybe an equal group of people, the folks that didn't get that opportunity to work from home, and they said, hey, I would like that too. And so all of this pressure, from an economic point of view, this pressure and change that came, one of the things that happened was it fast forwarded what had been promised by futurists my entire adult life, which was that we would become a global economy. And today, because so many people work from home or want to work from home, we are, in fact, a global economy. Now, there's pros and cons to that. And one of the challenges of a global economy and a global workforce is that you and I are now competing globally for those opportunities that exist. And I will tell you that, yes, people want income opportunities. They want the time and the flexibility of their own business, and they want independence. But in a global economy, when you are competing globally, you have to have an ownership stake in what you're doing. It's the only way that you can get ahead. And so whether it's your backup plan, as you see on the screen, doesn't it make sense to have a backup plan? I'm going to present you a backup plan today. Or maybe it's what you want to be your plan A, a new career, a completely different trajectory, like it has been for so many of our associates today. Whatever your goal is, I'm going to show you in the next handful of minutes a way that you can reach your goals. And I'm going to show you a way to reach your goals with flagship products that will make you feel good about what you do, what we call earning a great living while making a big difference. So let's talk about this today. And I'll share with you something I learned when I first joined this company, because remember I said I was working and commuting 80 hours a week and I was still not getting ahead. Well, that's because I only understood one form of income, linear income. I didn't realize the other kinds. I'm going to talk about those because I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can earn income in our business. Now, linear income is the one most people are most familiar with, which is trading time for money. That could be minimum wage, punching a clock like I used to do, right? You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. But it doesn't have to be that. You could be a surgeon. You could be making big money, but you're only getting paid when you're doing the surgery. You might be an airline pilot making a multiple 6-figure income, but you're only paid when you're taking off, flying, and landing the airplane. What we're talking about is trading time for money. And whether that's at minimum wage or big money, it's still the same problem. It's linear income. You eventually run out of time that you can trade for money. What about leveraged income? What if you could work with a team? Well, let's talk about the income potential of working collaboratively with other professionals in the community. And before I move on from that, I just want to say, I know that when I get to this second bullet, this is the least easily understood of anything I'm going to say today. Because most people, until I explain what leveraged income looks like around you, most people think that it doesn't exist, that it's not real. Like if I could say that I could disconnect your time from your money, that doesn't sound real until I give you a couple examples. Here's a great example: real estate agents. So in your community right now are real estate agents. And what do? They help people buy their homes, their dream homes, find a place to raise their family. They help people sell their homes because someone's moving. They're getting another job across the country, so they need to sell their home and move. Or people are downsizing, their kids have grown up and they're downsizing to a different home. In other words, that real estate agent, whether you're buying or selling through an agent, they're providing a valuable, vital service in your community. And that real estate agent that earns a great income by providing that great service is backed up by a real estate broker that supports the real estate agents in the field every day, creates infrastructure and gives them the support they need to do their work the right way. That's leveraged income. The real estate broker earns a small percentage every time real estate agents that the broker works with sells a home. That's power and that's leverage. That's how you disconnect time from money. I'll give you another example. maybe even more obvious, which is an insurance broker. An insurance broker has insurance agents, again, in your community out there protecting homes, cars, protecting businesses and the capital of those businesses, like their equipment, their tools, and then their employees. And what do those insurance agents do every day? They do vital work that creates real value, and they earn a great income doing it. As a matter of fact, I'll bet the real estate agents and the insurance agents in your community have the biggest houses, drive the fanciest cars. But again, just like the real estate broker works with the agents and provides the infrastructure, the insurance broker does the same for the insurance agents, making sure that they feel supported and they get a small percentage of everything that's sold by those insurance agents in the field. Again, this is leveraged income, disconnecting your time from your money. I'm going to show you how the business that we're in does that for you as well. And the third form of income is residual income. When you do something that's valuable, when you provide a great service, then what happens is, because you provided a great service one time, you can position yourself to get paid income again and again and again for months and maybe years and even decades into the future. And I'm going to show you that with our business model as well. But as I mentioned, and I'm going to speak quickly because we don't have a ton of time here today together, and I want to respect your time. But as we talked about, some of you are searchers. You're looking. You accept this invitation because you're weighing your options. I want you to know that whatever it is that you're going to do, these are the 5 areas you have to evaluate. You have to look at the company. Is the company rock solid? Has it been proven the test of time? Is there a need in the marketplace for what the company does? Is there a product line that actually makes sense to fulfill the need that exists in the market? Are you well compensated for what it is that you're going to do? And why is compensation important? Well, for us as adults, learning some new skills, acquiring some new skills, and putting our attention somewhere besides our family and our current responsibilities, we need to be well compensated for that. What about the timing? I'll tell you that the T in timing is far more important than the T in talent, but you can be too early and you can be too late on a great idea. So your timing has to be impeccable as well. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about our company by talking about our founder. Let me sip this because as some of you can tell, I got a little cold going here. And as I flip the slide, let me tell you the story, because you can't tell the story about our incredible company without telling the story of our incredible founder. Mr. Harlan Stonecipher started our company 51 years ago, and he was in the car accident that you see pictured on your screen. And even though Mr. Stonecipher was not at fault in this accident, something significant happened to him. Now, Mr. Stonecipher was a full-time school teacher and a part-time insurance agent. And he was driving down the road one day, and this lady went through the intersection, failed to stop, hit him, and nearly killed him. Mr. Stonecipher was in the hospital, and from his own autobiography, he tells the story of this situation. He said that he had insurance to protect the car, to get a new car, because the car was wrecked, totaled, and destroyed. He had insurance for while he was in the hospital, to pay all of the hospital bills while he was getting better. He even had life insurance had he not survived the crash, that his family, Shirley and the children, would also be protected. But what Harlan Stonecipher didn't have was a protection in place for what happened, which was that this lady that hit him and nearly killed him, that got all the tickets, was deemed at fault by the Highway Patrol, also sued Mr. Stonecipher. And Mr. Stonecipher had to drain his family's life savings to defend that frivolous lawsuit. And he said there must have been something he could have done had he known better to protect his family from the catastrophe of this legal injustice. Well, Mr. Stonecipher, again, from his book, talks about that formative moment. And here's what happened. Mr. Stonecipher searched for a solution. And when he discovered that it didn't exist, he did what so few other people would do. He set out to change everything. And from that car accident, this is our home office headquarters in rural Ada, Oklahoma today, a $30 million campus sitting high on a hill. This is what he started on his own kitchen table became this company today. Established in 1972 and today approaching nearly 5 million customers, which we call members. That's your friends and neighbors in your community that count on us in the United States and Canada to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. And now you may have never heard of Harlan Stonecipher before tonight. You may have never seen a photo of that home office headquarters at One Prepaid Way before. You may never have heard of Chris Corley or Jim Tanner or any of the other speakers. And that's okay. But this incredible company has been written up in Forbes, CNBC, Yahoo Finance, and Bloomberg. This is a company, again, by the way, that Harlan Stonecipher started on his kitchen table from that tragic accident, took to the American Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, finally the New York Stock Exchange, before we were acquired. As Mr. Stonecipher got into ill health and neared retirement, we were acquired by MidOcean Partners for $650 million. And today, that incredible investment has paid off well for MidOcean, our private equity partners, because we are today a $2 billion company. And why are we a $2 billion company today? Because we have created an equality by using disruptive innovation. And I'm going to talk about what our flagship products do, but just to help you frame what we do so you can understand how we do it, this is what a disruptive innovation is. Excuse me. We didn't invent what we do. We just took what we do, we made it simpler, easier, and more affordable. For example, you probably used to shop at the mall. Some of you are my age. You used to go from store to store looking for something you needed, right? The price, the color, the size, looking for that thing, and oftentimes coming up empty. That's what we used to do. We shopped at the mall, but we don't do that today. Today we go into our phone, and today was Cyber Monday, so we were doing this more than ever. I'll bet record numbers of us today were tapping on our own phone to have items delivered. As a matter of fact, in my house, just about every day, Amazon stops by with something our family needs. They didn't invent retail. They just took something that was cumbersome and annoying, quite frankly, and they made it simple. And they became a $1 trillion company by disrupting the way that we did retail. What about buying music? Now, most of us like the process of searching for music, right? While we might not like the process of moving all over town looking for something only to come up empty, I don't know about you, but I love going to the record store, flipping through, looking at the album covers. As a matter of fact, that's why vinyl is back today, because people want that experience of touching all of the music and discovering music. So while retail is not really something that people enjoy doing, searching and discovering music is. And Spotify and Amazon Music and other services like that allow us to discover music in ways we never have before. With a tap on our own phone, we can collect any music, any podcast, any information we want to hear. And by the way, put a 1 in the chat if you were the DJ. If you're my age, maybe you're around my age, you were a kid, you were the backseat DJ where you had that big cassette case that weighed 400 pounds of, maybe it was cassettes, maybe it was 8 tracks. I go all the way back to 8 tracks. Maybe for some of you it was CDs, but that's how we listened to that music on the go, right? And then you had a Discman or a Walkman before that. You could pick one cassette or one disc you're going to take with you. But now millions of songs are accessible at the touch of a button. You see what I'm saying? Spotify didn't invent music. They just made it simpler, easier, and more affordable to access. Well, what about the justice system? Now, Amazon and Spotify and the justice system might not seem like the same thing, but it's the same access. It's the same disruptive innovation. It's the same way we've taken something and made it simpler, easier, and more affordable. Because whether you've ever thought about writing or revising your will, you've had your information compromised in an identity theft issue, you've been treated unfairly, you've been in a situation where you've had to say, let me speak to your supervisor, only to know that doesn't get you anywhere. Whatever you do, the day-to-day life that we live in the US and Canadian economy is very relevant to all of us. We're all experiencing the same thing. As a matter of fact, most of us would agree that we know that it's actually cheaper to get bullied and pushed around over small things than it is to access our rights because of the high cost of attorneys. At $200, $300, $400 or more dollars per hour, the average cost of an attorney has far outweighed the average earnings of the citizen. And that's why Legal Shield exists today. Because with Legal Shield, you get our incredible mobile app and desktop experience. And what it does is it gives you access to thousands of attorneys that allow you to have a voice and advocacy that you otherwise just wouldn't have. And maybe some of it is things like advice. For example, just being able to tap an app and talk to a real attorney about a real issue that you're wondering about on an unlimited basis. Never having to wonder what you should do or Googling it. Never talking to your cousin who's not an attorney or your cousin that's a different kind of attorney. Never just wondering if you should put your head in the sand and hope it goes away, but always being able to talk to a real attorney that's an expert in the area of law that you need real help in. If that was all that what we do did, that would be something incredible. But this disruptive innovation does so much more, as you're seeing on the screen, because Not only do you get unlimited legal advice, but you also get to have your contracts and documents reviewed before you or family members sign them. Sometimes that's renting an apartment, buying a new cell phone, joining a gym. Fact is, every day we are signing or clicking agree on screens for things that were prepared by somebody else's attorney to protect their best interests. And then we're just expected to understand it. And then basically what we do is we sign it hoping that we're not putting ourselves in some kind of legal peril. What about having letters and phone calls made on your behalf? I'll tell you a quick story about the first time I ever used my Legal Shield membership. When I was a young man, I had a landlord tell me that I wasn't getting my security deposit back. Now, I hadn't wrecked the apartment and I hadn't broken the lease, but he just didn't think that I had any recourse. He didn't know that I was a Legal Shield member. And his words to me were, Jim, you're never going to see that $500 again. You might as well forget about it. So I called my attorneys to find out what I should do. They wrote a letter, overnighted it to my landlord to let him know that they were my attorneys and they represented me. And that letter included what the law was in my state. And the second he got that letter, he called me at work and he said, Jim, come and pick up this check. I don't want any problems from your attorneys. That's the power of having equal access to the justice system. That's the power of having legal muscle, advocacy, and a voice. And also, you can get your will done. All of our members get their will, their living will, their healthcare power of attorney, and financial power of attorney done at no additional cost, which means the peace of mind of knowing that your will is taken care of. When most people don't get this done because of the cost, because they're confused about what to do, they don't know how to get started, and they don't know who can help them. But all of our Legal Shield members get this work done for them at no additional cost. Isn't that powerful? As a matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat if you think just the peace of mind of knowing that you're getting your will done would give you powerful feelings of knowing that you're on the right track, that you've got your adult life set up. I'm seeing some ones there that you feel like, okay, I've got this adulting thing down. I'm seeing it there. Okay, thank you very much. So just getting your will done and then updated every year at no additional cost. How about traffic ticket assistance? How about the peace of mind of knowing if you got a ticket down the street from your house going to the grocery store or all the way across the country on vacation, that instead of just signing that ticket, admitting guilt to a crime, watching the points accumulate on your license and watching your insurance rates go up, you could have an actual attorney step into traffic court for you and represent you and hopefully get a better outcome than just going it alone. And we're talking about the peace of mind of knowing that if somebody sues you in civil court, that Legal Shield is there. If the IRS comes calling, Legal Shield is there. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, knowing that you have emergency access to your law firms. Because the fact is that when bad things happen in the middle of the night, we don't expect our members to wait until the office opens the next morning. We have you covered 24/7, 365. You also have the ability through our family and domestic services programs to have uncontested divorce, adoption, separation, and name change covered. That's 90 days after your membership begins. This is peace of mind for $1 a day. $29.95 a month covers you and your whole family. And you're probably saying, Jim, what kind of attorneys do I get for $1 a day? And then a whole bunch of you already figured that out, because it isn't your dollar or my dollar. It's the buying power of millions of members coming together. As a matter of fact, our 6,000 attorneys with over 20 years experience on average were paid $120 million just in the last 12 months alone. Meaning that when you tap that app or call your law firm, you are, in most cases, that law firm's most valuable client. We cover you, the member, your member's spouse or domestic partner, the never married dependent children under the age of 26 living at home or full-time students, dependent children under the age of 18 for whom the member is the legal guardian, and any physically or mentally disabled children living at home. Now, that's the power of our Legal Shield flagship product. As a matter of fact, that is what most people who have heard of us know us as. We even proclaim proudly, we are Legal Shield. But there's really two ends of these bookends, and the other side is called ID Shield. And ID Shield does exactly what you think a product called ID Shield might do. It monitors your identity and it monitors what matters. And by the way, I just want to make sure everybody here knows that your identity is very different than your credit score. Because your credit score is important, but your identity is who you are. It's your good name. It's who you are in the community. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. So your identity is incredibly important. And anything you and I can do with our identities, so can a thief. right? Like, what can I do with an identity? Well, I can drive a car, I could buy a house, I could buy a car, I can travel between states, I can leave the country. What can an identity thief do with that same information? All of those same activities and more. So you want to have it's important you have robust monitoring. Some of you watching this today, you're in a situation where you're saying, listen, I have through my credit card or credit union, my bank or something, I already have this. So I'm going to kind of tune Jim Tanner out. But I promise you, you don't have this. You might have some monitoring, and I hope you do. You might even have one of those many services that are being marketed to us constantly. And I hope you do, because it shows that you're responsible and you did your best to get protection in place. But monitoring is where really the services that are being marketed to us, that's where they begin in the end. But with ID Shield, you get something that's far more important, which is called restoration. Because while everybody else talks fast and has a lot of fine print that suggests to you that when you become an identity theft victim, they're going to be the ones that help you, what they really mean is they're going to coach you while you go it alone and try to solve it yourself. But with ID Shield, not only do you get a $3 million protection plan for your identity theft related losses, but you get licensed private investigators that will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity to the pre-theft status. Now, in addition to this, you have the ability to use these incredible services like a VPN from Proxy One, security from Trend Micro, a password manager. That really gives you the incredible peace of mind that you need to have your identity, your name, your good name in the community protected. And who's covered? Well, we have a plan for individuals, and we also have a plan for the family, which is you as the member, your spouse or domestic partner, and any dependent children under the age of 18. Also, dependent children from 18 to 26 get consultation and restoration services included as well. Now, since I'm here to talk to you about the opportunity, those are our two flagship products, and they're incredible products. But what we've done is we've made these incredible products within reach of the entire community, because while they're definitely priced right and allow most people to have access to these services, we've also got this program called Member Perks, which gives you and I and our millions of customers, our members, access to savings on things that we're buying anyway. And sometimes that's experiences like going to a theme park or traveling, renting a car, or staying in a hotel. Sometimes it's hardware and software that we use every day. Sometimes it's clothing, and really it's just about everything. As a matter of fact, our average family saves $49 or more per month with the Member Perks program. And so Member Perks, again, allows you to really save money, even though you're already investing in Legal Shield and ID Shield. Like my family, our Member Perks savings far exceeds the investment in our services, making a no-brainer a double no-brainer. And I'm going to talk more about our compensation in a moment, but I just want you to know that we have this incredible wheel of opportunity, we call it, as we go to the marketplace with our Legal Shield and ID Shield flagship products. We also have our small business plan to protect the small businesses in your community and give them the same voice and advocacy as a Fortune 500 company to allow them to compete on an even playing field. We have the ability for businesses to bring Legal Shield and ID Shield in as part of their benefits package, where we can go and talk to their employees by the dozens or even by the hundreds and help them get Legal Shield and ID Shield. We have a commercial driver's legal plan that protects 18-wheeler drivers as they move the economy by moving goods across the map. We've got their back as well. And then supplements that speak to every corner of every community. Some people have businesses that operate out of their home address. Some of you folks are driving your personal vehicle for commercial purposes like Uber and Lyft. We have supplements for just about everything you can imagine so that we can protect just about everybody. Now, I'm going to step aside here in a moment. I'm going to let you hear from some of my business partners, but I just want to touch on our compensation plan here for a second, because remember I said I was busy when I got started. And I know that most of you watching, you're busy too. But you can get compensated just by letting people know that Legal Shield and ID Shield exists. Now that you know they exist, you're going to overhear people talking about wanting to get their will done, or a recent speeding ticket, or other things they're worried about. And you're going to step in and recommend these services. Well, wouldn't it be great if you could get compensated? And you can. Anywhere from $70 to $370 for every subscription that's signed up off of your recommendation. You also have the ability, now that's the linear income. Remember, we talked about 3 forms of income. You also have the ability to have leveraged income, just like an insurance broker or a real estate broker, disconnecting your time from your money. You can build a team and earn income on memberships that are enrolled by members of your team. And then that third form of income, which is residual income, creating something of value one time, letting someone know that Legal Shield and ID Shield exists, and then getting paid again and again. As a matter of fact, because of our business model, all of our associates get paid every month on every active membership that they've ever recommended and that every member of their team has recommended. As a matter of fact, I signed up for this membership 30 years ago, which is 10 years before I got involved in the business. And the gentleman that signed me up for my membership 30 years ago is still getting paid every month on that membership today. Let me ask you a question. What are you getting paid on today that you did 30 years ago? And do you like the answer to that question? Because at Legal Shield, you have the ability to capture real residual income. And today, 30,000 of our associates earn a monthly residual income check. So we have fast start training to help you get started quickly. And this is a business where I just want to show you how in a part-time, spare time situation, you can create compensation for yourself that really is significant. Just protecting 4 families a month with the plans I showed you today would earn you anywhere from $300 a month to almost $2,300 a month just on those 4 memberships as you move up our compensation plan. And if you teach 25 teammates to do the same, you're talking about $120,000 per year. So a part-time business, a business you operate from home or from really wherever you are, that you wrap around your life, has the potential to create significant income and to allow you to build an asset called residual income as well. And I hope you like the fact that what we do is serious. You know, we protect people and businesses and commercial truck drivers, individuals and families with our services. And you can see in the compensation is serious as well. We have a significant way for you to earn income while also continuing to run your life the way you normally do. But we also like to have fun. And as you can see on the screen, we go on trips all over the world. We earn cash bonuses as well. Through our Performance Club program, you can earn up to $500 a month just in Performance Club cash incentive bonuses. And you can qualify to go on one of our trips around the world every year. We just got back from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Recently, we've been to Hawaii, and we're all excited about the announcement that we're going to be going to Jamaica on the next trip. All expenses paid, no expenses spared for you and a guest. It's a blast. So I'm going to step out of the way because I want you to hear from a few of our business partners as well. I'm going to start nearby me in the state of Connecticut with my good friend, Michael Robidoux. Michael, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tanner. Welcome, everybody. Prior to Legal Shield, I came from a corporate and management background. In my last position, what I started my quote-unquote career as and when I finished my career were 2 completely different things. About halfway through my tenure there, I was moved to shift work. Now, that means working 6 to 6, half days, right? It's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., flopping back and forth, days to nights, nights to days. And that schedule is not conducive to life, let alone family life. And early on, I wanted to own my own business, but I didn't know what that business was. And I was working a schedule that was just insane, and it didn't leave me enough time to look into different businesses. And then Legal Shield found me, and it changed my life. I was able to work my life around my family, my work around my family, not the other way around. And that 40-40-40 plan wasn't working for me anymore. You work 40 hours a week. I can't get it out for 40 years of your life for 40% of your pay. So after working my crazy shift work schedule for a number of years, I took a leave of absence. Legal Shield found me. And like I said, I was able to work my life around my work schedule, not the other way. And everybody that's a guest tonight, you couldn't have found a better opportunity to come across. With that, I'll pass it back to you, Mr. Tanner. Thank you.
Michael, thank you very much. And now let's go to Florida. Saul Arudia. Saul?
Thank you, Mr. Tanner. So I've been in Legal Shield going on 3 years, or I just passed the 3-year mark. My regular job is I've been in the power generation industry for 24 years. And I've made very good money during this time. But the reason I got into Legal Shield is because I want financial freedom. I'm tired of working for other people, and I want to leave something for my family. One of the best things about Legal Shield, one of the best thing about Legal Shield is the people that you meet, the people that you work with. Everybody gives of their time, and everybody's willing to help you whenever you need it. These are the type of people that I want to be around for the rest of my life. Another thing about Legal Shield that I love, it's going to give me the opportunity to live my dream. And not too many people know my real dream. My real dream is to buy cars, every car that I like, keep it in a place, not have to sell it when I want to buy another one. That's what I want to do. I want to have a lot of cars. I want to have a garage with 20 cars. That's my dream. So Legal Shield is going to allow me to do this. In order to accomplish this, I know it's not going to be easy. It'll take a lot of work. It'll take a lot of effort, discipline, and personal development, but I'm willing to do it and get it done. So I'm definitely very glad to be a part of Legal Shield. Thank you, Mr. Tanner.
Thank you very much, Saul. Appreciate you. And now let's go to my good friend Barry. Barry, where are you? In Michigan these days.
Yep.
Take it away, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Barry Fish, and I'm out of Flint, Michigan. And I want to share how the letter and call be able to help you out when you get into a situation. Because when I was going to have a family roundup with my brothers and sisters and my mother, we hadn't been together for almost 5 years. And I rented a 3-story beach house down in the coastal Carolinas. And I went to Priceline.com to set up my airline flight. So I explained to the gentleman that I was talking to on the phone that I wanted to go from Flint, Michigan to Jacksonville, North Carolina. Well, the date of the trip, I get to the Charlotte airport and I walk to the gate for the Jacksonville, North Carolina flight. And he told me I cannot get on the plane because my ticket said Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm like, what? I said, so what do I do now? I said, because I'm supposed to be in Jacksonville in the next hour to pick up my mother to take her to meet up with the rendezvous that we're having. He said, well, you're going to have to go over to the customer service desk and they're going to have to rearrange the flight for you. Well, I get over to the customer service desk and there's no more flights going to Jacksonville, North Carolina, because if anybody knows, Jacksonville, North Carolina is a military town. So all the rest of the flights for the rest of that day was filled up by the military. So they had no openings. So I had to say, I said, so what is the closest city that I can get into North Carolina to be able to get to Jacksonville, pick my mother up and still get back to the functions that I have set up. She said, well, we can get you into Wilmington in the next hour, and then you can get a rental car with and drive 60 miles and pick up your mother, and then you can go from there. Well, make a long story short, I did all of that. After finishing doing all of that, it cost me almost $500-something extra to be able to get all of that done. So I got back to Michigan. I called the law firm of Power and Chapman, and I said, explained to them what happened. I also talked to Priceline, and it took them 5 weeks to get back to me, and they still didn't give me the answer I wanted to hear. The Power and Chapman sent a letter out to them, and this is the letter right here, showing that what I've done. And then 3 days after them receiving the letter, they put over $500-something back in my checking account for the mistake that was made. So Priceline and the lawyers all met up, and I'm gonna be with Legal Shield for life. Thank you,
Barry. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And that's a great story. You know, if this whole presentation was about how about you never get on hold again, you never have to say, let me talk to your supervisor. You never have to raise your voice. You never have to wonder what the outcome is going to be because of Legal Shield. That's a powerful membership. That's exactly the experience of our associates, and that's why we're so passionate about bringing it to the community. So let's go over this because we're out of time. We said 5 areas to evaluate, right? A company. You know, startups are exciting. Ground floor opportunities are captivating. The problem is most startups never start. Most ground floor opportunities never get off the ground. But you have a company that's a half century in business, a multi-billion-dollar company, started for the right reason, started for need, not for greed. A company that has stood the test of time. That's what you're aligning yourself with. Is there a need in the marketplace? Look around you. Just ask yourself. It's an easy question. Are people sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are people sick and tired of getting pushed around and bullied? Would they like to have a voice in advocacy? And would they like to not have to wonder about who to call or what to do, but tap the actual app on their own phone in their own pocket and have their legal muscle whenever they need it, including 24/7, 365? Well, we've got a product that does that. Legal Shield does that. And equally, when it comes to identity theft and that tsunami of chaos that lands at your front door when you're a victim of identity theft, our licensed fraud investigators are standing by, just like our attorneys are standing by for your legal needs. So the product makes sense. And through our mobile apps, which we didn't have, quite frankly, when I got started, we had a laminated plastic card, just like a Blockbuster video card, but it was the most powerful thing in my wallet back then. Today, it's supercharged as a smartphone app. Take a picture of a ticket, have it taken care of. The peace of mind of knowing that you have this technology and access to your attorneys, your experts, to your rights to advocacy whenever you need it. That's powerful. Well, that's what we do. And what about the compensation? So many of us, 90% of Americans desire to be their own boss, but most people, when they think about it, they think about all of the challenges, about starting a business, going into debt, having all of the concerns that would rightfully go with that. But in this business, our company invests in you from day one, and you're funded on day one. This is a business where you get 1 year advance commissions up front, and they're paid 7 days a week. This is a business where you get to create an asset called a residual book of business, and it pays out for the lifetime of every membership, not for your life or my life, meaning you're building an asset that you can pass on to generations into the future. This compensation includes bonus programs that will astound you that I don't have time to get into tonight, but I could just mention one of them allows new associates, which you would be if you join us in this mission, to earn up to $700 in additional money as a new associate just getting started. What about the timing? The fact is that you're not too early, you're not too late. This is the perfect time to get started in our business. Right now, you can become an associate. You can start this business part-time, spare time, in slices of time. Work from anywhere because of our technology. Create a willable book of business, a real asset for yourself with residual income for the lifetime of every membership. Have training classes to help you launch your business, and then ongoing weekly training to help you sustain the growth of your business, and alignment with personal mentors and coaches that will help you navigate along the way. You have been to meetings like this where somebody said they were going to help you, only to find out that what they really meant was they were going to give you some brochures and a pep talk, right? Like, go get them, Tiger. We don't do it that way. In this company, we rise together. We work together and we celebrate your wins as a community and as a team. And this is a business that you can launch for only $49. That should tell you a lot about our motivation. Our motivation is not to sell you a package of things you don't need that are overpriced and unnecessary. Our motivation is to help you get in business right away so you can help us bring equal access to equal justice to every corner of every community in the United States and Canada. And it only takes 3 minutes to get enrolled. So I want you to get back to the person that invited you to this presentation and tell them, hey, listen, I'm ready to go. And what they're going to do is they're going to text you their website link. If they're not sitting next to you, if they are, just hug them and then go to their website, and you're going to be able to enroll and get Legal Shield and ID Shield for yourself and your family if you have one. And you're also going to be able to become an associate today for a one-time $49 associate fee. Now, that is a limited time price that's ending, but that price, $49, is actually lower than the administrative costs our company incurs to get you set up, to turn on your websites and technology, to set up your direct deposit so you can start earning 1 year advance commissions paid 7 days a week, and all of the other things that come with that. So we want to help you get enrolled, get the services to protect yourself and your family, join us in the business, and of course, we want you to have the opportunity to get paid every single day. Listen, I am so grateful that I got to spend this time with you, because I know for some of you, I'm the first voice you've ever heard reveal this opportunity, and I don't take that lightly. 20 years ago, when I was at my lowest point, when I was working myself to death and I still couldn't pay all my bills, I saw the presentation that you just saw tonight. And I said, I have found the solution. And I'm so grateful that I walked through that door. I hesitated. If I have to be totally honest, I hesitated at that doorway. But I walked through that door. I took a chance on me. I believed in the membership and I believed in the opportunity. And I believed that with mentors and this company, I could change everything. And frankly, I have never looked back. So for those of you that are joining us today, that are walking through the door I walked through 20 years ago, that are walking through the door that so many of our associates have walked through recently, I say congratulations to you. And welcome to Legal Shield. Good night, everybody.